Hello, I'm Chuck Phillips with South Alabama Home Inspections. Welcome to a safety edition of Southern Home Talk. And if I've ever done an inspection for you in the past and you had a deck or deck stairs that go down to the ground, chances are all it had was 5/4 radius edge coming up to the post, or may have just been 2x4. And the 2x4 is not too bad, but if it's the 5/4 by 6, it's actually too wide to be graspable. And for most people, and 2x4 may be too wide as well, depending on the individual. Really, it should be graspable rails like we're looking at right here. And so I'm fixing to install some on my stairs going down. I'm actually guilty of this myself. And so what I decided to use is this 3/4 galvanized pipe. This is used in running natural gas. I used to use a lot of this stuff when I was a plumber for that purpose only. But unfortunately, a lot of houses were plumbed with this for the water supply. And as a result, it just clogs up over time. It's not likely you have it, but if you live in an older home and you start seeing issues with low water supply, there's a possibility some of this could be in your system. But getting back to the handrails, this is going to be pretty easy to put in, and really all you would need is these two sections here. Of course, my stairs are 10 feet, and this comes pre-cut length, so this is 5 foot in each one, and they have these protectors. You see the threads on this one, they got the caps to protect the threads on it. 2 pipe wrenches, possibly a crescent wrench. You don't need any pipe thread tape for this because there's nothing going through it. It's simply just going to be handrails. And the good thing about this type of pipe is it has these type of fittings here, these flange fittings, so that can be screwed to the deck rail. And so basically all I needed was 2 90s, 3 of those, 3 nipples, 1 T, because that's going to go in the middle, and these wrenches here. Now, unfortunately, I was in such a hurry to get out of there, I messed up, and this nipple's too short, so I'm going to have to go back again and get one this size, because that has to be right as far as the length. It doesn't matter too much about how far it comes out from the rail, but they all do need to be the same length, whatever size you decide to get. And so I figured I'd make a short episode on this to show you can do this yourself, or possibly you can. Everybody's capabilities are different, and the cost to do this is just under $100. You could probably get it a little bit cheaper as far as the parts for this, depending on where you do your shopping. But I figured I would share this, and it's something you should add to your deck railing, especially with the wet weather we have. It really can make those stairs super slick. Now, I do know that they make compounds and stuff you can mix with paint that will make those surfaces rough and more grippable. But even with that, you should still have rails, because you can really get hurt going downstairs, guys. Okay, well, I figured I would go ahead and show you how I'm putting this together. This may be helpful, especially if you've never worked with this stuff before. And I can't remember if I mentioned or not, but galvanized pipe is probably going to be about the best thing to use for do-it-yourself. I mean, they make this black iron, but the problem with black iron is it's going to rust. And galvanized has some potential to do that as well. But if it's galvanized good enough, you shouldn't have too big of a problem with it. And that's why I recommend you use galvanized pipe. Now, you might be able to use copper, but if you do, you're probably going to want to use 1-inch copper. But you're probably not going to be able to find these same sort of fittings for copper when you use it. I think if it was me, I'd go with this galvanized pipe, because it's really rigid. I mean, it's really strong, and it doesn't have to be supported all the way down either because of that. Now, you can see how I've got this screwed into this flange, and so that needs to be done first, and then you want to put your T on next. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've only got so you can see. So that's T needs to go in there like this, and that needs to be threaded on first. And then what'll happen, what I'll do is I will thread this one right here, And then I'll have the 90s on the ends like this, with the nipples going into that. And then those flanges will be there on the end, so you'll have one supported piece in the middle. Like I say, I got a 10-foot span I'm having to run. But, you know, a lot of people don't have that long a span, so, you know, yours may only have a 5 foot, and that'd be good for you, because that way you would just need 2 90s in a 5-foot section. And you can go to, I know Lowe's does this, at least the one in my area does. They will actually cut and thread this to the lengths that you specify. So if you needed one long piece, and I could have done that myself, I could have gone down there to Lowe's and just got one 10-foot section. But the thing of it is, I wouldn't have had the middle support. So that's why it's really best to get 2 5-foot sections. Now, if you have a threading machine, you can rock and roll, because that way you can cut the pipe yourself and then thread the ends. But I don't have that anymore, so I had to go and do it this way. So I'll just stand by. I'll show you some pictures of how this worked out. Just the main thing is when you use your screws, they need to be weather rated too. So stay tuned. You'll watch the last part of this. All right, it'd be good if you had 2 people to help you, but if not, you can just get one screw started. Just let it rest on the bottom of the steps, and then just lift it up when you get down there and screw that side in. All right, guys, this is a done deal. You can see got it all the way down, and it worked out perfect as far as the length. I did power wash the steps, but these need to be actually sealed, and also be better to put an abrasive coating over these as well, to keep them slipping on this as well. But really, this needs to be done during the fall, especially here in South Alabama, because you just don't get enough dry weather until then, and this really needs to be really dry before you go to working on this in any kind of way. So you can see it worked out really well. It's almost like it was intentionally made for it, but 2 5-foot sections.